Okay, thank you very much for coming, guys. I make it 4:20, so I'm going to make a start. I've only got 10 minutes. So the difficulty with having a short amount of time is actually deciding what's the most relevant things to say. So I've got 3 slides, and then I'm going to jump into a demo. And for questions, I'll be around outside at the end, or you can come to the IBM booth and talk to me there. So my name is Matthew Golby-Kirk. I work for IBM's Global Blockchain Engagement team based in the Hersey Lab. It's my role to travel and speak to clients about what blockchain is, how we can help, and what we're doing with blockchain, and talk about use cases, et cetera, et cetera. So that's enough about me. So this talk is all about the IBM Blockchain Platform Starter Plan. We have several different plans available, but the focus of this talk, given that I've only got 10 minutes, is the starter plan. Now, here's a network diagram showing the whole of the architecture for the blockchain platform. And here we can see that on the right-hand side, you've got the Hyperledger fabric, which is in the middle tier that underpins all of the applications that you build to run, you can see in this box at the top. Now, the bits you have to build and do yourself, of course, are the application and any of the smart contracts mentioned in these little boxes here. S1, 2, 3, etc. And you can see that it's all underpinned by either IBM Cloud, which was until recently the only option that was available, but now we also have IBM Cloud Private, which allows you to deploy this in your own data centers or in other multi-cloud environments, and we've got an offering for AWS as well. On the left-hand side, you can see developer tools. And we want to be able to offer you development tools that accelerate your development processes, as well as operational tools to look at how things are going, to make sure things are running correctly. And of course, a set of governance tools to help you manage the networks that you're building in a democratic way. So this is the general plan behind the blockchain platform, is to give you the tools and capabilities to manage and grow and scale any network that you need to build to run on a blockchain platform. So as I said, there are several different deployment options. We're going to focus on the starter plan one. And out of the box, when you start with starter plan, this is the kind of functionality that you get. You get a network that's created for you, because starter plan is aimed at development and test use cases only. It's not aimed at production scenarios. So in this case, you get pre-configured 2 certificate authorities, one in org 1 at the top, one in org 2, and you get an endorser for each of the organizations. So you get a ready-built network that you can deploy chain code into to start testing. And in fact, that's what you do, is you deploy the chain code into the different endorsers, and then you can start testing your network. There's a pre-built and configured channel that wires all this together. So that's the key architecture that you have there, is the out-of-the-box experience the starter plan gives you that lets you get up and running as quickly as possible. As I've said, there's lots of different options for deployment with different plans available. And when you look at the slides, you can have this as a reference. This is a comparison between the different offerings that we have and what functionality is available in them. And you can see the first column is starter plan. And most of the functionality is available in starter plan as the others. It's just the enterprise plan has some extra functionality around the fault-tolerant Kafka-based ordering service and things like that. So there are extensions to the existing starter plan is what you get with enterprise, for example. So that's enough of the slides. I'm going to jump over to the demo now. And let's bring up a browser. So here, right, I just wanted to show you, before I jump into the platform itself, I was asked to show you how you get into it from the beginning. So here we've gone to ibm.com/blockchain, okay? That's the one URL to remember from this talk. From there, you can click on the Create Now with IBM Blockchain Platform link. And if we click on here, we're then taken to another page, which is all about the platform. And here it tells you that you can claim $500 credits for your first network when you sign up for starter plan. So to do that, we can click Start Developing Now. And then we have the claim $500 credit to get started. And when we follow that link, we have a page where we can sign up to get the starter plan and claim those credits. So that's how you get started with that offer there of $500 to get going out of the box. So what I've got now is a starter plan that I've already deployed and constructed. So I've gone into the UI, I've chosen starter plan, and I'm in the dashboard that you get once you sign into your plan. So I'm signed into the plan as myself. And one of the first things that you see, and I'll just zoom in a little bit there so we can see a little bit better for those of you at the back. You can see in the overview panel a list of objects and things that belong to the user that's logged in at the moment. And here you can see I have an ordering service that I can reference that you can see is running. I have a certificate authority, and I have a peer. That's the one peer for this org1 that I mentioned on that slide diagram that you saw earlier. Now, I mentioned that you had two organizations out of the box. The second organization is what I call a virtual organization. And it's under the same account because this is, don't forget, for dev and test purposes. So in dev and test, you want to act as different members of the network. So to do that, you can literally switch the organization in the top right, and I could become company B. And then I would see the list of assets that are available to company B as organization 2, CA, organization 2, peer 1, etc. So they really have running assets against them. It's just I can switch between them under the same account to act as a different user. So we imagine when you submit transactions, you can see the effect as a transaction submitter, and then change to the, somebody else on the network and see the effect from their point of view as well. So that's the overview tab. You get to see things like storage, how much is your blockchain using in terms of disk storage, etc. You can see I've hardly used anything at all here on mine. So the next tab, and this is the interface essentially is just a tabbed view down the left-hand side with panels appearing on the right. So we're going to go to the members tab next. And here we can see those members that I mentioned, and you can see the certificates for the members, etc. I need to zoom back out because I can't see the Add Member button. Here we go. So I can click Add Member to invite somebody else to join this network. And this is one of the things that makes Starter Plan really, really easy to use, and Enterprise as well, is that you can just invite another member with a few clicks of the mouse by sending an email to the person that your organization that you want to invite to join your network. So I'd literally type in their address. They get a link in their email that they follow, and then they can sign in, and then they get a view like this, but on their IBM Starter Plan account, and they can see what I'm seeing, but from the other organization's point of view. Now, I mentioned those virtual orgs. The other type of org I can create in Starter Plan is a virtual organization, and I can do that by clicking just Create a New Member, and then I've got another organization to play with in the network as a developer if I want to do that. Another view here is the channels view. And on the channels view that we can see that I have one default channel, that's the one that I mentioned, that connects together those two peers that are deployed for you. And you can see that it's got a block height of 15, peers that are connected to it, etc., etc. So I'm just going to click and have a look inside the channel, and we can see some more information about that channel. We can see that it's got a total of 15 blocks. It's been a day since the last transaction. That was me trying it out last night just to make sure everything was going to go smoothly today. And you can have a look at the details of the blocks, etc., and information about transactions in those blocks. So what I'm going to do now is just show you one more thing, which is how I deploy code. I could go to the Install Code tab, and then I could choose some chain code to upload and install into the peers on the network. I'm not going to do that now. I've already got one deployed. And if I go back to that channel, you can see that I've got chain code on the default channel deployed. I'm running out of time, so I don't want to waste time showing you things that aren't absolutely necessary. So here you can see I've got FabCar deployed to this network. So FabCar gives me the ability to have a very simple development. It's one of the samples that comes with Fabric, and this has been installed so that I can show you some things. So here we've got a query network JavaScript function, and I'm going to run the query network to query all the cars that are on the FabCar network on this particular channel. So if I'm going to run that straight inside the VS Code editor, and if you were in Gary's talk earlier, there was mention of a VS Code plugin that's available as well. But I'm just going to run this, and we're going to see all of the output from that particular running of that transaction. And the query, we can see that we've got multiple cars installed. The car in particular that we've got here is car 0. It's a blue Toyota Prius, owner of Matthew. that actually is my car. I do have a blue Prius. And for very purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to change the owner of that car by running an invoke transaction that's going to change the car. So I'm going to change it to my colleague, Dave, and I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to now run a invoke transaction. And we should see that when this gets successfully executed, that's good. And then I can run the query again, and hopefully we'll see from the query that the Prius owner has indeed been changed to Dave. And I can go back to the UI now. That was why I wanted to do a transaction that made a change. We can refresh the channel view, and we should see that there are now 16 transactions on this channel, and that we've got only a few seconds since the last transaction was executed. So I make that exactly 4:30. That's my 10 minutes up. I hope that was useful. I don't see another presenter coming up to kick me off the stage right now. So are there any questions that I can take quickly before, if anything long, I can take it over at the booth? Okay, stunned silence is good too. Question here.
That one where you just demonstrated executing those command lines.
Yeah.
Where was that command line
running?
Executing?
So the command line that was executing was on my laptop. So I sent that transaction over the Wi-Fi up to the IBM Cloud, running in Dallas data center where my starter plan instance is instantiated. So that was a genuinely live transaction being executed there over to Dallas.
You weren't having to use like a CLI plugin?
A CLI plugin. No CLI plugins here. This was genuine, just Node.js SDK transaction application. Question?
To invite a new member to the blockchain.
So what?
To invite a new member to the blockchain. Does he have to be have like a starter plan as well?
Very good. The question was, when I invite a new member to the blockchain, does he have to have a starter plan as well? The answer is yes, if it's a genuine third-party organization.
Otherwise, you make it virtual.
Otherwise, you can make it virtual to test and develop your application to make sure that you can see that things are going to work before you actually spend money and get real people involved.
How much does it cost for a starter?
So how much does it cost for starter plan? Starter plan with 2 peers for an organization is $500 a month, more or less. And that's per organization in the network. So if you have 10 people, they'll each pay $500. If you have 20 people, they still all pay $500. There's no detriment to having more people in your network. Everybody pays the same. Okay? Other question there.
What version do you use of Hyperledger currently?
Sorry?
What version?
What version? So starter plan currently is using 1.2.1 at the moment. Okay. One other question. Last one.
Users from different organizations use the same dashboard and the same account, or you switch the identity from different organizations.
Okay, so I am logged. So the question was around the account and what does the dashboard look like when I'm logged in as a different user. Here, I'm logged in as Matthew Golby-Kirk, top right. You can see there. Okay, if I was a real third-party organization with a network, with an identity on this network, I would log in. They would log into their dashboard, and they would see something that looks like this, but with their login from their point of view, so they can see things that they're permissioned to see. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that and enjoy the last couple of hours of the conference.